I think a little bit of it's good.
Yeah,
E-
probably.
Like even it just
Oh,
relating to people and stuff like
how
that.
did you also like the new background? I'm asking you and the audience. Well, at least the audience. I watched the video version of this.
I've seen it though, right? You're asking the audience
Huh?
because I've seen it. You're asking just the audience,
Well, this is the first. Well, this is the first time I'm asking for your opinion too, since it's a new background.
but I saw it last time.
No?
Yeah, unless you changed stuff on the shelf slightly, I saw it last
No,
time.
the background.
I got you.
Not my background, the podcast background.
Yeah, it's all right.
See, I kind of tried to make it look like it was a recording thing. You know what I'm talking about? But I didn't realize how we'll be in it. So I
Yeah.
didn't take that into account to the black lines and all
Oh,
that.
you made it.
Yeah.
So then you got to figure out because you get this footage and then you can see the dimensions of the footage, right? When you view like properties of the footage.
Yeah, but I can also kind of just like tweak it based off what I see right now too, because I kind of have a general idea of what I need to change.
Yeah. Well,
So I did.
all you got to do is get the properties of this image, like take a screenshot of it that you're not going to use,
Yeah.
and then we're getting so sidetracked. Take a screenshot of it that you're not going to use, and then take that to Photoshop, which is I guess what you're using, or Illustrator.
Yeah, I was using Photoshop. I'm still learning Illustrator, so it's easy for me to do Photoshop.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the Photoshop or Illustrator is good for this kind of stuff that you're doing here with simple vector graphics. And then just resize it to the proper size. So see what your footage size is. Make this picture the size of your footage, pixel by pixel, that number there. That will be the same size. Now that you've got this blank canvas here, now make your lines over a new layer over the top of it, right where you want them to be. Delete the back layer, or just turn the visibility off and save it. And then now you're going to have it perfectly lined up without guessing again.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think of the colors? I did like purple and goldish and all that. Then did like a gray tea tool, and then just kind of like did a little messing around with it.
Cool, man. Yeah, that looks good. I like it. It's the only downside to it that I don't know if it's just this StreamYard or if it's the image itself, but it looks a little grainy in a spot like this circle. The circle's grainy. It's kind of weird because if you made it in Photoshop, I think maybe you made it too small.
Maybe, but I kind of did the dimensions it said on the StreamYard said to do.
Yeah, it's weird. Dude, see what the footage comes out to dimension wise,
Yeah.
and you whatever it comes out to when you look at it. I'm not using the right terms, but I know you know what I'm talking about because you know more about video editing than I do. I'm pretty sure. And but as you could tell, I used to do it, and I'm going to end up doing it again. But okay, I think we're pretty much up and ready to go. This is like this. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Ford Long Haul Podcast. This is Blaine sitting alongside.
Hey you guys, it's Brandon. How you guys doing today?
Good. They're doing great because that's how they always supposed to be doing good. And so I'm glad you guys are here today. And what we're going to talk about is Do Nothing Rent-A-Man.
From Japan.
We didn't put Japan on the title here, Brandon.
Well, I don't know. Oh, I thought you knew about it. But okay, so anyway, I was the one that found this, and I was like, okay, this is weird, so weird, but so interesting at the same time. I sent Blaine the video of it. I was like, dude, we gotta talk about this. Like, this is probably one of the most interesting things and crazy things I've ever found. Because it's like literally just like he basically does nothing and he gets paid for it by people. They rent him and all that. And I'm like, I shouldn't be surprised by that, but I am surprised by it.
Honestly, I completely agree. I should be surprised by it, but I am surprised by it because it's just like, why would people pay for that? And it's like, exactly. That's why.
If you read an article, because if you look it up and you read an article, and you start reading some of the reasons why, it's like, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense and all that, of why people would do this.
I was trying to find. I thought we had the link to the article right there.
Yeah, I'll put it in our chat for you real fast.
And I was trying to go peek at it real quick just to have it up because I thought I was going to click it real quick as we started.
There you go.
Oh, my camera needs to block its focus, but we'll be all right. Oh, cool. We got it right here. Now that I got this desk thing going on, I can actually click this, go to the side. That's gonna make me got a lot more light going on. There's the article that we had. Perfect. Yeah, but this is so cool. Like this guy literally, he shows up with people. It's like he's hanging out with them,
Yeah,
but he won't do
basically.
anything. He won't say anything either. He's just
Or
like,
like if he does, he just like give like very
yes,
minimum stuff. It's like, yeah,
no.
cool.
He's like, you
Interesting.
like the color red? Yeah. Like,
It's like,
that's it.
yeah. So basically, going to this article we found on the Insider about him, Business Insider.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me find it.
BusinessInsider.com.
Yeah. People pay him to join them in activities ranging from, I am not going to try to pronounce that word, like having a meal, to the extreme, like listening to a mortal confession.
Oh my
Which
God.
I don't know if that's real or not, but
There's
like
no
if that is.
way.
So apparently he started this in 2018 when he was unemployed, and like apparently he created a Twitter account called Do Nothing Winterman to advertise his service. And apparently he gained more than 200,000
100,000
followers.
followers. That's insane. And the word that you were looking at, mundane. So
Okay.
ranging from the mundane, like having a meal, sitting outside on a balcony or
Okay.
something, or watching TV. I'm sure that people do that. I mean, literally, this is just kind of similar to like like sugar daddies. Now hear me out. Sugar mamas and stuff. Hear me
It's
out.
for the company and all that. That's when, right?
Yeah, and so those people will pay those people just to be around with them. Like some of them are paid; they want them just to go shopping with them, and they buy them stuff. They want to see someone like they spend their money on. And some people for the sugar daddy thing or sugar mama or whatever want only that. Like literally nothing like you would think of typically. Like oh, they're paying lots of money and they're doing things, um, you know,
It's for the
not safe for work actions. There you go.
yeah.
And but literally some people solely want just the interaction
Yeah.
and to be with somebody, and this dude is like I can do that and I can do less and I can make money for doing it,
Yeah.
and I think that's just it's so cool.
See, it's like whenever I first saw that, I was like, how is this even a thing? How is this working? Then I thought about that, like you said, and I was like, it's probably for the companionship and all that, especially because like in Japan, sometimes the culture though is so different, especially like for young, especially like for like younger people, like a lot of times it's like just like walk driven, it's like walking till you exhaust, walking till you fall asleep on the train ride home, fall asleep in the middle of the parking or whatever, fall asleep at your desk, like
Yeah,
walk so hard to you to that point.
yeah,
And that can be stressful, and like I can imagine people be like, you know what, and like that leaves them sometimes not having time to like make any kind of relationships outside of the walk and all that. So having this kind of service kind of makes sense.
yeah. And
And
this reminded
also,
me of something. Oh, the fact that will you lose your train of thought? This is really short. Do you think you'll hold it?
no, yeah, go for it.
And so this is just like this guy creating this do nothing random man probably for a joke, and he literally started getting clients. Like he was just like, I'll just do this. Sounds silly. I'll do it. I mean, this is like just like Joe Rogan in his podcast. He said he started doing it. It was kind of like it was nothing serious at all. He's like, let's just talk with people we know about whatever, not even really have a script or something. It's just like we're gonna start with whatever, and it's just gonna disappear into anything. And that's literally what he does. He just gets people on there. He just talks. He doesn't have a game plan for the entire thing. And he said he never thought it would blow up to the caliber it did. So like this is an example. Just do it.
Yeah, and I also gotta say this real fast. Also, I'll link the article if you guys want to read it, and on the YouTube channel, and I try to link it on my Instagram, probably in our story and all that, so that way you guys can read this article, find out more about this guy. But as I was gonna say, just like a real quick side tangent thing, I did say like whenever you fall asleep, like if it's on the bus, on the park bench, or at a walk, in America, that would be looked down upon, and they'll call you lazy and stuff like that. Over there, that's a sign that you walked yourself to exhaustion, and that's acceptable, and like people want to reach that state. They have a word for it. I cannot remember what it is.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like I was watching it was a long time ago. I was watching a video about like the walk culture in Japan and all that, and how it differs so much from the States and all that.
Yeah. I mean, for
It-
them,
it's also
for
a
the
lot
like,
over there. It's also like honor based and all that too. And I guess that's good
yeah,
to work
and
yourself too
it's I
exhausted.
don't know about how the female, and I guess I would say in the
I know.
society versus the male, but the male is always
Yeah.
working hard
I don't know
all
about that.
day, and they go out at night super late whenever they want to have some fun because they've worked literally all day, early morning before sunrise to like after it gets dark. So then they go, smoke a bunch and they go get drinks.
Hmm.
Like I don't know what the lady does. Is the woman in this society?
Uh,
Are they?
I
I
know
don't think they would
I
be
know it's
held to
been
that same
changing a
kind of
lot
standard.
too. I know it's been changing a lot, and I would assume like it's kind of becoming the same thing as for the men. If you walk,
Yeah.
I assume like this the I yeah. I have to see if there's a new documentary about blah, blah, blah. I sound like a Looney Tune
Documentary.
for a second, but that's how, folks. I used to be able to do that good back in middle school, but as I was saying, I probably have to try to find another documentary about the walk life in Japan and see what they say about that. I would imagine it may be similar to the men's, especially because stuff's been changing over the last 10, 20 years over there.
I would think it'd be similar, but I don't know how they're. Yeah, I have a good idea about how that fluctuates for men over there because I've talked to someone that's talked about that before. But
Yeah.
so I have direct experience straight from someone who's been there. So it's like the first source kind of thing or whatever you call that, from the horse's mouth, I guess.
Yeah.
And but I've never talked about women and how they are in the sphere for them. What is it like? Are they this kind of standard? I know the honor thing is more. I think it's even more important for the men in terms of working for honor and stuff like that. But I'm wondering if the woman is more family based, and are they expect to work just as hard, or how's that work?
Honestly, like I want to find like another documentary that's just say about that now that you bring it up because I'm trying to remember and I can't really remember anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
So let me read this part of the article real fast.
Okay.
So Japan has struggled with managing loneliness and social isolation among its citizens. I mean, not citizens, among its residents. In 2020, the country reported rising suicide rate for the first time in 11 years, and appointed a minister of loneliness to help tackle the problem.
I
So, like, I
remember
mean, like,
reading.
it's kind of like what we said, like, because of how they walk and all that, it sometimes doesn't leave time for them to, like, form relationships with other people just outside of work and all that.
Yeah,
And then, people just get lonely and all that, and that's not good. And I guess, like, with everything else, it's risen for the first time, like this in 11 years. So who knows? Maybe we just see more people like, I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, I know I'm going to get it wrong. Doing maybe like renting themselves for nothing for
oh,
just like
really?
be like, hey, come have lunch with me and all that.
Yeah,
I wonder if they pay for his lunch too, or if he has to pay for that out of pocket, or if he includes that in the price.
I bet you they do pay for it out of pocket. Like his service is to a company, and then beyond that, I'm sure this is how this works. And then beyond that, so I was like, let's go have lunch. They already know they're gonna have to pay for his lunch because they are paying a service for him to tag along, and he just hangs out. I bet you, unless one of his offerings is to have lunch and it's in the package or something like. But I doubt he would pick where they're going to eat and stuff because it sounds like his role is really just like I'm
Just
here,
yeah, like,
I'm sitting here, do your thing. I'm just sitting here.
and apparently he was interviewed by CBS News, and this is what he said: "I don't make any special effort," he told CBS News, adding, "I reply to chit chat, but that's it." So he really just doesn't do that much. It's more like you don't doing stuff like hiring him to do stuff like walking, shopping, eating, and just so that way you're not alone when you do it.
Yeah, honestly, wait. Oh,
What I
I'm on
read
the
is kind of
edge
up
of
top
a
of the
yawn.
article.
And okay, it went away. I was just like, go away. He reminds me of you can get this for free. You just have to what is it, like a 15-year-old on their cell phone nowadays? They won't talk anyways. They'll just slowly will reply to very light chit chat,
Oh
and they'll
yeah.
just sit there and be quiet.
Now I want to throw a question to you, Blaine.
Oh,
Do you think this can make it in the states?
Anything's possible, man. It's all about the market. In the market,
Because I feel
like
like
no joke.
I feel like over there, this would be more acceptable. But I don't know if somebody hiring themselves to do nothing and just be like, say, minimum wage to people will catch on over here. If that makes any sense of what I'm trying to say.
I got you. Makes sense. This is why it sticks to some extent. I don't know about super successful. I bet you better market over there. But here's why it sticks in the States, I guess. It's so catchy because it's so silly. It's just like do nothing, rent a man. You'd rent a man that does nothing, and that's why it's so catchy. It's so catchy. It's like I don't know. I just hear it. It makes me want to have all these questions right off the bat, and I know nothing about it, and that's good because it's grabbing your attention. It's all about attention.
Okay, you are right about that. You're all right about that. The only thing I said I could make it catch on is I don't think it's as like maybe it's the same level of magnitude as it is in Japan. I don't know, but people all know it. People they don't want to go to restaurant by themselves. They don't want to go to the movies by themselves. People want somebody to interact with, and which is normal. We're humans. We at a subconscious level, need to interact with other people. Else, it's been shown that it's bad for our brain. It's bad for our mental health. It's just bad for us in general if we don't interact with people on a semi-regular basis.
Yeah, like one example in like prison. Look, I made it to where I could look at the
Oh yeah,
camera
like
almost.
how people say what's it called? Whenever the
Isolation. They put them in
isolation, yeah,
isolation,
that's a
and
human rights
be,
violation.
it was like put them in isolation because of whatever they're doing bad stuff, self harm, whatever. And now they're forced to be in there. I think it's 23 hours a day. They get out 1 hour, maybe. I don't know what it is, just something. I think they get 1 hour out, and literally it
Solitary
messes with your
confinement.
mind.
I think it's solitary confinement is what I'm thinking of. It's like where it's
Yeah,
just them and themselves, like nobody else. They're not interact with anybody.
yeah, exactly. I think yeah, solitary confinement. That is, I think, the real term for it.
Yeah, and
Okay.
people have been saying, this is technically a human rights violation and all that
Yeah,
because of what it does to them on a psychological level and all that.
yeah, that's a good point. It's makes these people worse than what they were because putting them in there, especially for super long periods of time, they have signs for it. We're social animals. It literally, if you were like they like gave a monkey, like a baby monkey, a chimp, I guess, right? They gave them two different like fake mothers. They took the mother away from it. They had two fake mothers. One was made out of like wire, so it's just like a wire, so it's hard. It's not
It's like
soft or
mesh.
anything, something like that, I think. And the other one is soft and fluffy. And the chimpanzee goes and sees the one and sees the other, and it chooses the soft and fluffy one for like comfort. It resembles having the mother.
Hmm.
They're social animals. We are social
Yeah.
animals, and without that interaction, it makes you different. And I felt this personally because like working from home, it changed me a little bit for a minute. Now that I get to see people all the time again, I'm back. But there was a minute I felt like I was slowly becoming less extroverted and like just narrowing the doors a little bit. Still extroverted, but being like
Your
not
introvert
as
side is
out
coming more
there.
out.
Yeah, it's just and it was I mean, it was weird. I'd go out somewhere, like by myself to maybe go to the store or something. I just felt like maybe I didn't want to look at people. Maybe if they looked at me in the eyes, I'd look away real quick instead of looking at them another second or two, just like, hey. And depends on who I'm looking at when I do that kind of thing. But like stuff like that, because it's an introverted person, like immediately if you lock eye contact, like, oh, I wasn't looking. And you get someone who is more extroverted, they'll hold the eye contact for a second, like, oh yeah, and like the acknowledgement of eyes, like I see you,
Yeah.
and that's an example. Like one small thing that changed. I don't do that. I'm back to normal now because I see people so often.
Yeah.
It's much better, but isolation and being away from people in a physical space, being a lack of that it's not good for you.
Okay, now I do gotta say this as an introvert because I don't know if we talked about this. I know we've talked about this off cam. I don't know if we talked about this on camera and on mic, but like you're an extrovert. I'm an introvert. We both kind of acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
But like so me, I can be okay by being by myself and not seeing anybody talking to anybody for like just like X amount of time. Then I'm like, okay, I need to go outside. Even if I don't talk to anybody, I need to go somewhere with those people around and just that would be good for me. That would be the interaction I need. Like I think didn't leave my house for like 2 or 3 days, and all I did was like just send applications and just like listen to TV and all that. Like send applications, look for jobs, and send applications to them. Then just listen to TV, cook and eat and all that. I did that for like 3 or 4 days, and I was like, I can't do this. I need to go somewhere else. Like I can't be in this house for like a good couple of hours. And so like I went to Starbucks, and even like there was just a couple of people. I didn't really talk to anybody besides the cashier, but for me that was like the human interaction, just being in an open space where people come and go.
Yeah.
Even introverts, we need that
Well,
to an certain extent and all that.
well, the thing is, and I think Simon Sinek talked about this to some extent. Love Simon Sinek a lot. He talked about there's two different types of people. There's introverts and extroverts. There's not one of an entirely one color. You are an introvert with some extroverted qualities.
No, yeah, like I have, I don't want to say I trained myself, but like I've become like over the years, I have become like I am introverted, but I can become extroverted if I need to be.
Yeah.
Like and especially in certain situations, I'm like, okay, I have to talk to people and all that, blah blah blah, and then I'm good. Then then later I'm like, okay, now back to just being me.
Yeah.
Just back to.
And the other cool thing I was gonna add to this, the Simon Sinek that he talked about is he just said the introvert and the extrovert. The introvert has, let's say, a couple of, like, let's say 5 points or 5 coins, and every time in a day he talks to someone, has an interaction, he loses 1 coin. So he like gives 1 coin away. Talks to a second dude at the cash register and wants to have a conversation, gives another coin away. He has a limited amount of interactions before he is drained, versus the truest form of an extrovert, or people who are really extroverted. They gain the energy from the interactions. They get coins, like points, back. So they talk to someone, it gives them more energy. Talk to another person, it gives them more energy. Talk to a third person an hour later, gets energy again. Versus the introvert, energy is tapped out of them because of the interactions.
Gotcha. All right, so I want to make one more point. Our friend Jonathan, he's an introvert, obviously. Like you meet him, it takes him a while to get used to like people or certain situation and all that.
Yeah.
He knows this. Like
Yeah.
I mentioned this on the last episode. We did a collaboration with on our Pokemon podcast. Let's Go Pokemon podcast. We did a collaboration with a podcast called Poke Guy Chris. Where they had us on the show. We just talked about Pokemon, about Pokemon Go and stuff like that for like a good hour and a half, I think.
Yeah.
And they asked us some questions like, "Hey, how'd you guys podcast begin? How'd you guys get into Pokemon, etc., stuff like that." And like almost towards the end, because they listened to some of our episodes, we listened to some of those and all that. By the end, though, like what? I gotta say this. We both thought, because it's like him and his wife, like we both thought that that Jonathan, like, he's like, no offense to you, it's like we thought you were gonna be quiet, but man, like, well, like we looked at each other in the middle of this. He's like, he's really chatty today. And I even said, yeah, I'm surprised too. I thought he was going to talk much. He was like, and even Jonathan was like, yeah, I'm surprised too. I'm actually surprised I'm actually talking as much as I am. And then talking, huh?
See, this is the thing right here. This is the thing that people feel that like they don't get. So like Jonathan is a hardcore introvert.
Yeah.
But you put someone in a place where they talk about what they love. They'll talk about it the whole time. And this is where it just wraps back into that circle about doing things that you like to do. He loves Pokemon. You were talking about Pokemon on your Pokemon podcast, right? And so he's a jabbermouth now. There's not the infinite talker when he doesn't know people, but you put him in a room with somebody he knows, which is Brandon, and you gave him a topic that he loves, and off he goes.
And also, I did gotta say this: is like he even looked at me and he's like, "I'm even talking more than you," and I was like, "I know, I am surprised."
Yeah.
I'm actually having trouble saying stuff because y'all are talking a lot.
That's
Like all of us were just
awesome.
surprised by the fact that he was like really just talkative. Like even like back whenever we first started that podcast, he was always like the like quiet, but now like he talks just as much.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to
Good.
like poke him and be like, Jay, talk.
Oh gosh.
And not
Yeah.
really, but you know what I mean. I had to like
Well,
give
if
him
he
cues. He's
talks
like,
that
yo,
much,
same.
sounds like you have to tell him to.
I had to give him a
Hey,
cue. He'll be like, hey, why don't you talk about this real fast? Since I like, if I'd be talking for like 5 minutes,
Yeah.
like just kind of cannon off the mic.
Yeah. So you still have to give a little bit of a nudge to get him going sometimes.
Not really. It's like more. It's like we kind of we've kind of gone since we've been doing this for over years. It's kind of like you and me. It's like we know exactly when the other one stops, when the other one begins, and all that. And it's like it's like once I'm done talking about one thing, he'll pick up the same thing and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. Well, cool.
Oh,
I think it pretty much hits this one on the head.
Yeah.
We cover the entirety about the do nothing Rhythm Man. What our thoughts are about it, and our thinks, and the fact that it's so neat. It's cool. I guarantee you, someone's making money doing this right now in the United
he
States.
is. What's his name? I'm not gonna try to pronounce it.
He doesn't live in the United States, right?
Oh no, I thought you meant somebody in general, not somebody in the States.
No, I say I guarantee you in the United States, someone's making money doing this. Guaranteed.
Okay,
Guaranteed.
if you guys know that anybody is doing Rent to Nothing Man in the United States, please let us know. If they're doing it in your country and you're not from Japan or from the United States, please let us know somehow. And also, has this given you a business idea of what to do now? Has this given you inspiration?
Man, this gets paid to do nothing by going and sitting someone like how he shares coffee in silence. Or I don't know what listening to a busker is. Do you know what a busker is?
What? Where did you see that from?
A busker? Just Control F and his past gigs, and then it'll show those. Sharing cake with someone on their birthday and accompanying people to restaurants and shops and joining a client on a swing set. Like, he gets paid to be there. That's it.
A busker is a person who performs music or other entertainment in the streets or another public place for monetary say the word.
Monetary gain? I'm not reading it, but
domination.
Monetary domination.
Donations, my bad.
Oh my god, I was like monetary domination. Okay.
So basically a street performer.
Yeah. And so somebody will pay him and he'll go with them and listen to a street performer. That's so neat. It's so silly. It's so cool. It just fascinates me.
It's something that you think about this, you'll be like, nah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. But in hindsight, it actually does work.
That's the point. It's just like, oh, what is it? Like, I thought about this as well for something like if you're promoting like your YouTube channel or something, and you make a comment, you don't say, "Hey, go look at my channel. I think you'd like it." You make a comment that says, "Don't go look at my channel and watch my videos." People are gonna be like, "Don't tell me what to do. I'll do what I want." And
reverse psychology, I think
it's like reverse psychology, yeah. But it's the way it gets you in your head. It's differently.
Yeah.
It's there's another guy asking me to go look at his stuff. Wait a minute, this guy just said don't go look at his stuff. I'm gonna have to click this. I just can't.
Yeah.
And that's the same way this is to me. The do nothing Rhythm Man. The fact that he does nothing. It's just like, I need to know more about this.
Yeah.
I'd like to inquire. It's just genius. I love it.
Like, okay, well, you guys, like I said, let us know if anybody does this where you live, the country, state, wherever you live at. And if you guys want to follow us on Instagram, you guys can do that at
For the Long Haul Podcast on Instagram. And then if you want to send us email or ask us about sponsorship information or any of that kind of jazz, ftlhpodcast@gmail.com. Also collab. We're super big into those. Love talking to new people. And so that pretty much concludes all the stuff here. And we'll catch you next go round.
All right, bye.